This is my first attempt at a weblog. The reason I'm deciding to go with weblog are twofold. One, something new, something different. And two, I think it'll be a little more of an efficient means for me to express myself. One thing that I'm sure you've noticed if you've been following along my written postings, I've discovered I have some learning difficulties that make it more time-consuming to produce written material. And as one of my goals while I'm here in Israel is documenting my experience, it just makes sense, if I have the means, which I do, to document my experience by a more rich and efficient manner than just text. So that is the why of the weblog. The how, well, it's on my computer. I got a new headset to help out with the audio here. Hopefully that works. This time around, I'm going to try to do something to document my experience every day. Whether it's taking pictures and posting them up on the site, which, by the way, there will be a number of new photos, albeit doubled and unedited. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Posted up to the website under the unedited photography column. As I become better with the software, I'll start putting edited photos in a separate page. I have a web connection now, which makes my ability to upload content much easier. Maybe it'll be a weblog. Maybe it'll be an audio log recorded elsewhere. Maybe it'll be typed. Who knows? But my goal is to spend an hour a day doing something to document my experience here in Israel. Right now, I'm not attending Ulpan. I am working on my internship, so my day kind of breaks down like this. I've got an hour a day for documentation. I have 4 hours a day that I'm going to be spending learning Hebrew. Now I know I'm not in Ulpan, but that does not preclude me from learning Hebrew. I found a fabulous website, www.memrise.com. If I knew how to insert a little thing down there for you to click, where's there? There for you to click to visit it, I would, but I don't know how, so I won't. That's memrise.com. They've got teams of experts in memory and linguistics working together to find easier to remember means to teach language. It's similar to flashcards, but at least for me it sticks to my head a little better. So I'm going to be spending 4 hours a day building my Hebrew vocabulary. Vocabulary is my weakest link. Right now I have enough of a grasp on grammar and on just the how of the language to really start tacking words on, building my linguistic understanding. That's my goal there. I'm also going to be spending 4 hours a day working on my internship. I have an internship with an organization called Iraq.org. Well, that's their website. Their organization is IRAC, the Israel Religious Action Center. They advocate for plurality within Israeli society, whether that takes the form of equal footing between the Orthodox and the non-Orthodox, or equal footing between the Jew and the Arab as far as is possible and appropriate within a Jewish state. And of course, what is possible and appropriate within a Jewish state is unfortunately up for debate. Maybe I'll talk about that later, but for now, put it aside. But they advocate for equality. I, for one, really admire the work they do. I've been falling in love with this land. The longer I spend here, the more I want to spend here. And the one thing keeping me from making Aliyah, the one thing keeping me from obtaining citizenship here, isn't a lack of language, isn't the funny foods. I love the language, I love the diet, I love the lifestyle. Within the cities itself, it's very pluralistic. They're dealing with their issues head on, but they're dealing with it, they're discussing it. It's not brushed under the table. The thing preventing me from doing it is I want to be a reform or reconstructionist. I want to be a liberal rabbi. I've applied to Reconstructionist Rabbinical College. Now, as far as I know, under current Israeli law, you can't perform marriages or conversions if you're a liberal rabbi. And I don't just want to be a rabbi to have Rabbi Joshua Levine. There's work I want to do in the community. And I want to be able to achieve those goals. I want to be able to do that work. And at the moment, that's something that I can only do in the States. Anyhow, my internship is with these people working to make it possible to do that here, which is totally awesome. My job is going to be going over their website, updating it. It's an English language website, so I have that part under control. Possibly converting it over to a WordPress site or something that's easier for them to maintain. Over the next 6 months, I want to leave them with a structure in place so they can continue to update it themselves. Plus, it's going to be more aesthetic, easier to navigate, and have fewer errors for the end user. So you're going to hear me talking a lot about that. So what have I been up to lately? You're hopefully wondering that. If you're here, you're interested in my story, and my story is kind of cut off. Well, I had to shift my efforts very, very, very intensely to focus on my application. Unfortunately, a lot of those efforts were inward efforts. We'll call it contemplating. Half of it was worrying. Grad school applications are scary. So focusing on my applications, focusing on my program, wrapping up at the kibbutz. I miss the kibbutz. I miss the people. I miss my teachers. I don't miss the smell. I never mentioned this before, but it's a kibbutz that raised cattle. It smelled like a kibbutz that raised cattle. So, I've got the new program set up. I moved to Tel Aviv. I'm living in the student dormitories. I live with one other gentleman who's only in once every 2 weeks. I haven't met him yet. I'll be meeting him in a week. There are 2 other people sharing the apartment in the room next door. There's a sad kitchen. I'll show it to you at a later point in time. It's just 2 burners and a kitchen sink, not even an oven. On the other hand, it's 2 burners and a kitchen sink more than what I had before. So, look at the good stuff. My first day in Tel Aviv has been quite productive and quite exciting. I went out to get my visa renewed and totally failed at that. I was told the office would be open today, had everything I needed. I get there, the building's open, but the office that deals with student visas closed. What can I do? On the bus ride back, though, is when things started to get interesting. I went to go to the bus back. It was a huge mall. I realized that doing dictation and hoping to do video logs, I needed better quality audio, so I stopped in, got a headset. Hopefully it'll last a few years, get my money's worth out of it. Got on the bus, went back toward my dorms. Now the bus crosses a bridge over the, I believe it's the Yarkon River. And as we're crossing over the Yarkon River, I see a single sculling under the bridge, followed by a kayak. There's not just rowing on the river, there was rowing happening right then. So I get off the bus a little early. I know I'm in the middle of an unfamiliar city. I don't know how far down the river or in what direction the boathouse is. I don't speak the language, and I only know one route to get back to where I live, and here I am getting off of that route. Scary. So I go down to the river, bump into somebody, ask if he knows the direction of the boathouse. I'm going to do this all in English for you, even though this wasn't in English at all, except the word rowing. So, did you know the directions to the rowing club? He pointed down the river. So I started walking / jogging around the river, down the river. Saw the single go back. The woman had really good form, squared up, kept the blades nice and close to the water but out of the water. Beautiful feathering, right in. Great rowing. So I'm going down along the river, go under one bridge, down along the river, under another. Seems like it's been a while. I ask somebody else. He tells me it's a little further west, across the road. The next bridge had a road over it, so I go across the road and keep going. English not being his first language, I think he meant to say across the river. I find the boathouse. It's across the river. Go back over the bridge. The boathouse is closed. There's this larger place. Looks like they have boats, but all I see are motorboats. Huge dock right across the river. So I get out, up, over, down. And the sign for that place, as I'm heading toward the bus center, I find the sign for that place, and it's the Daniel Rowing Center, Tel Aviv. Nautical sciences, etc. So I go, I stop by, I get a business card for a gentleman, and I'm going to be looking into taking sculling classes, coxing, and possibly seeing if they'll let me do work in exchange for those classes, because money's tight. I've wanted to learn to scull for the last few years, haven't had the time. See in a couple weeks how my time schedule looks, and we'll see what we can work out. Anyhow, I'm really excited for the chance to get back on the water. Found my way to the bus station, found a bus that led back home. Here I am, laying out my day before my day. Oh, got home, put together the video that I'm uploading right now. It's a video of the coin exhibit in the archaeological wing of the Israel Museum. The Israel Museum is absolutely gorgeous. You'll hear me talk about it quite a few more times, because I plan on going back quite a few more times. The Dead Sea Scrolls are utterly fascinating. They have original Picassos, and just fills me with joy. Anyhow, that's the story so far. Hopefully it brings you up to date. If you have any questions, please ask. I would appreciate prompts to jump off further thoughts. Anyhow, I'm going to go cut this together now, and I look forward to leaving you with more words in the future. Litraot.